Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So we're at this point where we can hide certain portions of the image, which is great, but we need to be able to capture the pixels. Now remember, this is the canvas is just an image. That's what it is. So when we are selecting here, we can actually grab portions of this by just getting those pixels in that area. So we can tell it to grab those and maybe we can put them somewhere else later. Now what we're going to do instead is we'll grab those pieces of these sections, and then we're going to create another canvas object, and then we're going to paste those on the canvas object and then export those as images. Now the reason we're doing that is because the method that can export an image only exports an entire image from canvas. So maybe it can export a very small portion of the image. I'm not sure how that is done, but for now that's what we're going to do. Okay, so I'm going to make a smaller version right here, a smaller version of canvas, and then that's where I'm going to put the data. All right. Alright, so let's create the smaller canvas. But before we do that, let me just extend the width of this thing here. So I'm going to go to max width here. It says 800 pixels. I'm going to put 1000 on the canvas holder. That way maybe it can give more space to the other side, but that's too much. So let's put it at 900 perhaps. Like so. Okay, that's much better. And maybe we can put white on the canvas, but this is fine. So I want to make another smaller canvas. So there's a canvas object right here, and I'm just going to grab that. And this one I can put anywhere because it's not going to be visible at all. So this one will be called a small canvas, like that. Okay. Just so there's a difference. And then where there's context, we need context as well for the small canvas. Okay, so I'm going to just put small underscore canvas and small context for the context of the small canvas. And now the thing is, you don't have to actually put an object here like so. You can actually generate a new canvas when you want that. Maybe that's what we should do, I guess. I think that's better practice. So what we're going to do is do this. Let's remove this canvas, okay? So here what we will do is, this is on the export. This is the save thingy here, okay? Now, before we eliminate what's there, we're going to capture those pixels that are there. Okay, so selection, we add that to the temp box. Now before we do a redraw, we remove temp here. Actually, maybe before we remove that, we can get the things from temp, the values. So here we'll say export image, right? So I'm just going to say window or document dot create element. So we're going to create an element called canvas, okay, of course, like that. And then I'm going to say let, I'm just going to call it can, like camv maybe, just so it's still unique. Okay, so that's our small canvas there. So let canv is equal to that, so great. Now I need to give it a width and height of the current selection, which is inside here. So what I'll do is I'm going to say canv dot width is going to be equal to the width inside the temp box, because that's the data we want to copy, and that goes for the height as well. So I'm going to do this and say height. Good. Okay, so we've set the width and height of this canvas object we've created. And then now what we need is to copy data from the big canvas onto the small canvas. So we'll say here copy data. So the way we copy the data is we go canvas, the main canvas now, dot get. What is that code actually? So this is get, I think it's called get image data. All right. Now, in order to get the image data, you have to give it the coordinates. So the XY coordinates and the width and height. So it gets a square out of there. And luckily we have all that information inside the temp box. So width and the height, of course. And then, of course, the X and Y. Okay, so we put commas where we need that. So this is the X, this is the Y, and the width and the height. So we need to say let data is equal to canvas.getImageData. And then we do the opposite. We say conv dot, we have put image data now. Okay, now this one we just tell it the coordinates where to put the data, because wait a minute. Yeah, we put the data here, that's the data, and then the coordinates where we are putting the data is 0, 0, like that. Okay, good, that's good. Now we want to see this canvas. Okay, I just want to see it. So I'm just going to say window dot let's see, maybe we grab the body of the window. What are we going to do? I want to add this, maybe the body. Okay, let's do that. I'm going to say document dot body dot, let's see, append child. So we put that canvas in the body tag, just like that. Okay, that way we can see it and see if it contains the image we want. So I'm going to select here and say save selected. So clearly something went wrong because I don't see anything here. So let's go to the console. So get image data is not a function. Okay, so maybe we're supposed to use the context. So ctx get image data, I think. The same goes for the canvas here. We should have let conv.create element. Okay, we should have set conv ctx is equal to get context. I forgot about that. 2D. So we need to get a context for the smaller one as well. So I'm going to grab that. And that's the thing we're going to use to put the image data there. Okay, so context get data, context small, the smaller context put, and then we show it there. Okay, so I think that should work. Let me load the image once more. Let's move here and let's say save. Okay, get context is not defined. Okay. How did we do it on this other side, right? So I must know. So context is equal to canvas.getContext, get context 2D. So I'm going to copy that. So it needs to look the same, I guess. Oh, it needs to be dot something. I don't know why. I think I'm used to PHP. That's why I'm doing things like this. So it has to be conv like that dot get context. Okay, my bad there. So let's refresh and let me load the image. forget that JavaScript is object oriented to it. There are objects everywhere. So if I save here, okay, so document.body.append is not a function. Okay, that's okay. What we're gonna do is let's just grab the canvas holder, and then we can try and squeeze the canvas in there. Or maybe let me just add a div here. Can't I append the child? Let me see here. In fact, what I'll do is I'm just going to say I want to create a little sandbox here. I want to see what objects are available to document dot. Can I append child? Yes, I can actually to the document. So I don't need the dot body down here. I can just say document dot append child, and that should work. Okay. So let me refresh again, load image, and let's do that. Let's try again and save. Okay, document.append child is not a... Are you kidding me? It just says here that document.append child is a function. What? Okay, so type error, document.append... Oh, it's append child. Okay, I think that's my problem here. I missed a D over there. So these are things you have to take care when you're programming. Letter, what's this? Spellings are very important, because if you miss one letter, then you can't do what you want. So save selected. And there we go. Look at that. It's showing me down here in the body. I added that. So I can keep creating new canvas images here. And also I've noticed something weird here. Now that we have a scroll bar over here, now if I move the scroll bar to the beginning, everything works as intended. And I can save to add another image over there. Look at that. That's very nice. But if the scroll bar is down here and I try to click and select, it selects in the wrong area. Yeah. Even when I click and drag like this to try and move it, things don't work as planned. Okay, so that's because we need to take into account the scroll bar. So in order for me to know what item controls the value of the scroll bar, I can go to my sandbox here again in the console, and then I can test a few things out. So I can say maybe window dot scroll. So I want to look for all the scroll. I just typed SCR, all the values here. So since I've scrolled a little bit here, I want to see which value is not at 0. So if I say scroll X and Y, I think these are the ones that I'm looking for. So let me look at the scroll Y and run it to see what value I get. So I get 88, right? If I move it up and run this again, I get 0. So this does determine the position of the scroll bar. So that's window.scrollY. Okay, so I need to take that into account. So I'm going to go here where the mouse moved, and this is the mouse X and Y. So once we do this, we have to take into account the window dot scroll X and Y. So this is the window scroll Y. Now I don't know if we need to add or subtract, because let's see, if I'm on the y-axis and I've scrolled down by 88, I think I should add, actually. We add those values there. Okay, so let's see if that solves the problem. So load an image. There we go. Let's add some images down there. Okay, great. So once we've done that, we should have a scrollable thingy. And if I click and drag, it seems a lot worse than before. Let me close this for a second. Let's do this. Okay, it's not working as intended. So maybe we should actually subtract. Okay, let's try that. So refresh, let's try again. Let's go ahead, click and drag. Let's do that. Okay, now that we have a scroll bar, let's scroll. Oh, that's even worse. What exactly is going on here? Okay, the plus sign did work. So window.scroll X, window.scroll Y. Left and top. Okay. So this was the mouse position. Quite alright. So Y, window.scroll Y.scroll X. Okay. So that seems to work fine. Maybe there's somewhere we're using the values without taking into account the X and Y. So let's look at draw mode here. Draw mode is false. Okay, that's not where the issue is. Let me see when I try to move this. Okay. So it doesn't work there either. If I do this, it goes wonky. Okay, so probably these guys, something to do with it. Mouse X minus, so what is mouse X? This is taking into account mouse X, which is this one here, which is taking into account the scroll. I think the problem is, let me bring this here. I think it's with the initial values. When we do mouse down, these are not the correct values either. We should take into account the scroll position as well. So I'm going to paste that there as well. So great. Mouse post. What's happening here? What's happening? Soup. Okay, I think that's great. That should actually do the trick. So let's refresh. Let's try again. And let's do this. Save. Now let's scroll around. That doesn't help at all. Because the moment I press down, that is not on the right position. So even when we go mouse down here, what's happening here? Window.scroll X.scroll Y. So maybe it should start by subtracting. Does it really matter? I don't know. But let me put these in there, in the brackets, and then that. Okay. Something I'm missing, I guess. X and Y. 0, 0. Okay, so all of this just seems okay because it derives its values from this very spot. But what about here? Okay, that uses mouse X, so we are safe. Same as here. Okay. This should be safe now. Mouse X there. Great. Yeah, I think we should be good. But why isn't it working? Come on. Let's try again. Okay. Okay, so those are not working correctly either. All right. Then there's something missing. Let me find it.